Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's App Talks. Today's topic is iOS 15 and how we can leverage it for mobile growth.
All right. Yeah, I would like to also give a warm welcome to everyone also from my side. I am a quick intro about myself. I'm Elena, working here in Operator's services team as an app marketing expert. And yeah, as said, I'm super excited to be here to discuss the new iOS 15 features and their impact on ASO. And yeah, I will be walking you through today's webinar together with my colleague, Teresa.
Yeah, welcome here too. I am Teresa, working here also in Operator as an app marketing expert. And as already mentioned in this webinar, we will go through the main changes in the App Store since the release of iOS 15 to explain how app marketers and app developers will soon be facing the new upcoming features of this iOS 15 release, how these changes and new updates will affect your apps, and how you can leverage those new features and make them an opportunity to make your app grow. So summarizing, we will be explaining more in detail about product page optimization, custom product pages, and in-app events. One of the main...
Sorry, just one thing very quickly. If you have any questions, please write them in the Q&A section so we can talk about them at the end of the session. And yeah, let's go.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Rebecca, for this insight. It's very helpful to let us know your questions or any type of issue that you might be experimenting with these iOS 15 releases. So continuing with this webinar, one of the main iOS 15 announcements is that the Apple App Store will finally bring native A/B testing through product page optimization. And Elena, what does product page optimization mean, and what will this imply for the app industry?
Well, in my humble opinion, this will be a game changer for your App Store marketing strategy and conversion rates in the Apple App Store. It means finally there will be an option to A/B test within the Apple App Store, similar to what you might know already from Google Play, the so-called Google Play experiments. But let's dive a bit deeper here and let me explain to you what the product page optimization feature will be like. It will allow us to test store listing creatives, which means icons, screenshots, and app previews, helping to find the best performing variant for each market. This will be done basically by testing each of the app's assets via split testing, an A, B, and C version versus your current product page. And it finally gives a unique opportunity to test hypotheses in a native environment in the App Store. And yeah, then you will be also able to compare the performance of each of the variants in App Store Connect based on impressions, conversion rate, and also you will see the improvement. As usual, here also important to mention, all creative assets will need to go through the standard App Store review process. However, what I think is great, it won't require a new app version release, but you simply submit the screenshots and previews for review. Unless I have to say, if it's the app icon, then all variants of your icon must be included in the binary of your published app.
So product page optimization would work the same as the current native A/B testing in Google Play, the Google Play experiments?
Well, yeah, as you can see, Apple is getting closer to what Google offers with their store listing experiments. But what clearly still differentiates the both stores is, on the one hand, as mentioned, the review process. And on the other hand, on Apple, you will be able to test, at least for now, only your app creatives, but no metadata fields. Yeah, worth mentioning here is also that the product page optimization feature will be focused on optimizing the organic traffic. As you can see on the image here on the slide, the default App Store product page will only get organic traffic consisting of the search and browse traffic if you're using custom store pages for all your page traffic. But my dear colleague Teresa will tell you more about that feature in a bit.
Yeah, that's true. But first, can you explain us a bit more about how the approach of A/B testing should be, or how to optimize your creative strategy in the App Store?
Sure thing. So yeah, I would say after previous in-depth market research, you should focus on building clear hypotheses of what you want to test. Make sure to really be concrete here about what you want to change in your store listing. What do you want to achieve with those changes? And why do you think this will work based on the research you have done before? This could be, as an example, adding feature XY to the first screenshot will increase the conversion rate because research has shown us that this is the most popular feature within our app. And yeah, based on your hypothesis, then you can start to design your creatives and start setting up your experiment.
So in your opinion, which are the main points, the main skills you should keep in mind when A/B testing?
Well, first of all, I would say I want to highlight here the duration of your test. Always keep it running for at least 7 days to avoid seasonal spikes. I know we always seek for fast results and want it as fast as possible, but here I really recommend to do it at least for 7 days. In the end, I mean, the duration of your test will also be very much dependent on the overall daily install rate of your app and the amount of traffic you're getting per variation. Another thing that I would like to highlight here is that you should always target specific countries instead of going worldwide within your tests. The reason behind is quite simple. Your testing results for, let's say, Spain won't be the same as for United Kingdom or Italy, simply because people in different countries have, of course, also different cultural preferences. This is why you need to consider the A/B test per local in order to optimize and increase conversion rate also for different locals. And then, make sure to measure the performance of your test and determine which creative variations perform best for your app or game. Based on all the hypotheses that you've done before, you will then be able to evaluate it based on performance metrics such as the impressions, the conversion rate, and improvement. And last but not least, keep optimizing. There is, I would say, always potential for improvement. And this is why I would really recommend you to see it as an iterative process here. For more information on how to experiment, we have a really great article about that. And Rebecca will send a link into the chat, or has already done that. Thank you so much. All right. Well, I already teased beforehand during my talk the topic of custom product pages. Teresa, could you give us some more insights here? What does Apple mean with custom product pages, and what will this new feature mean to the app industry?
Yes, so custom product pages, as you mentioned, or CPPs, are the alternative version of Apple's default store listing pages. With CPPs, app marketers will be able to highlight different functionalities, contents, interests than those displayed on their default store listing page. Very important here would be that these page variations, the custom product pages, will only target users coming from outside, from external paid campaigns or ads outside the Apple App Store. This means organic users will still be redirected to the usual Apple Store listing page, and therefore there will be no changes for organic users in this sense.
All right, Teresa, that sounds good. Could you tell us a bit more about how those custom product pages will look like in the end?
Yes, with these custom product pages, developers will be able to create up to 35 customized variations, as we noted in this slide presentation of their default product page in the Apple App Store. Each one will have an accessible, unique URL and showcase different functionalities or content by changing their promotional text, screenshots, and video in each variation. In this sense, you will have the possibility to provide a completely different overview of the product page in the Apple App Store for those users targeted via social media, external ads, and any other kind of sites outside the Apple App Store. This way, developers will be able to adapt and to contextualize their message to each audience or audience segment coming from outside the Apple App Store, making the App Store page more I would say, attractive to users.
All right. I would like to give here a short example. Imagine an influencer promoting a certain app and sending their fans or followers a unique URL where they will be able to find the store page with the image of the corresponding influencer or idol also then in the creatives. Don't you think that this could lead to a higher conversion than the default App Store page?
Exactly. Or for example, in case a developer is granting a special discount or announcing giveaways to users visiting the official website of the app, don't you think that this will reinforce the message if we simplify this message in the custom product page in the Apple Store to lead higher conversion of this specific audience? It would definitely will have an impact in conversion. So although with the CPPs, with these custom product pages, you will be only to customize the promo text, the screenshots and video previews, as we already mentioned, and therefore they won't have a direct impact on app indexation and keyword rankings. It would definitely help to boost the installs by pushing up conversions of your apps and games.
All right, Teresa. And what does, in your opinion, the announcement of all these features will bring? And I mean, what is the idea of Apple behind all these changes?
So basically what Apple wants with this feature is to balance the ad strategy for the apps inside the App Store and therefore improve the performance of paid traffic campaigns, own media acquisition channels, and in general, all the user acquisition effort and marketing initiatives outside the Apple App Store, meaning with this that at the end, your ad or acquisition campaign will have more potential to convert better, making paid campaigns more efficient at the end, which means that key metrics of the whole user journey, like the average revenue per user, the return on ad spend, we also have impact on the tap-through rates, cost per acquisition. All these main metrics in the user funnel will be impacted by this feature. At the end, all ad networks work on the basis of a goal-based bidding. That means you can bid on installs, purchases, subscriptions, and therefore the goal of Apple is to incentivize to fill ad impressions with ads that are more likely to convert or result in a goal. Or in other words, that these ads in the Apple App Store gain conversion power, gain estimated value, and increase thereby the number of downloads. For the apps inside the Apple App Store, of course, we'll have to wait until the release of this feature to check which ad networks are compatible with these custom product pages. So moving quickly forward into our third topic would be in-app events or app event cards, which are another big update, another big feature that brings iOS 15. Can you explain us what are the specifics of these in-app events? How do they look like? What will be the impact?
Sure. Yeah. With in-app events, Apple provides app marketers with a whole new marketing tool to promote their events, challenges, and new content. I would say this is yet another way to reach new users, engage current users, or reconnect with lapsed users. In-app events are basically exactly what they sound like, live events that happen inside iOS apps. They are timely events such as game competitions, movie premieres, live stream experiences, and more. Many app developers are basically already running events inside the apps or games, but iOS 15 will allow later this year to finally bring attention to those in-app events and enable promotion for them, thereby helping us to expand the reach through event cards that will appear in different sections throughout the App Store, such as you can see here in the picture, the product page, the search results, and also the editorial sections.
Yes, so are there any other ways to promote these in-app events besides the one you've already mentioned, Elena?
Yes, as you can see on the right image example, users can tap to open the event details page to get more information about the event. And from this page, then users can share your event link with others. For example, they can share the link via messages or social media. And also in-app events, they can be promoted via email, advertising, and social media and other external channels to create additional awareness and engagement. In total, Apple allows you to have up to 5 events live on the Apple App Store that you can then build a buzz around using also the link, putting it out there into different channels.
Okay, that sounds great. Could you tell us a bit more about how to prepare for these in-app events? What is needed or required in terms of metadata?
Yes, so first of all, you need to select an event badge that describes the type of event you're offering, such as that could be a challenge, a live event, or a major update. Then you should also choose a unique event name where you have up to 30 characters. You also have the short description with up to 50 characters to briefly explain your event and convince users to take part in that event. And then there is the long description for more information. And of course, then within your event card, you have also the dedicated media, which could be an image or also 30 seconds video. While I have to say, we do not know yet which fields are going to be indexed by Apple, it is very likely that keywords from important metadata fields, such as the event name, will be indexed and will be helping to boost visibility within the stores. This is why we would also recommend trying at least to include important keywords into your event's metadata.
So some of these metadata fields of these in-app events you've mentioned will be indexed by Apple, right? How would in-app events impact ASO in general?
Yeah, so first of all, it will strongly impact search. As an example, when a user searches for a specific event, let it be a new challenge, the event card will be displayed in the search results alongside the app. This means that the information on the event card, such as the event name and the short description as mentioned, will probably be indexable and provide app marketers with a whole new way of increasing apps' visibility by targeting core keywords or adding new ones. Important to note here is also that if a user has already downloaded the app and searches for the app, the event card will replace the screenshots in the search results. This is a great opportunity, in my opinion, for app marketers to engage with their current users and also bring back lapsed users that have downloaded the app but haven't opened it recently. Besides the increased search visibility, Teresa, could you just move on to the next slide, please? I think, yeah, perfect. Awesome. Thank you. Besides the increased search visibility that I just mentioned, in-app events will also increase cross traffic, since they will appear as said in editorial sections in the Today's, Games, and App Step. And I mean, if you're not making use of those in-app events, you simply won't be qualified for special featuring placements across the store that are just reserved for those events. I mean, why would you want to miss out? I would at least highly recommend to give it a try. And yeah, what I also, when talking about how to leverage all those things, I also want to mention that among others, you will be able to indicate your event's purpose, something that I personally find super interesting since it allows you more personalization. While, of course, some events may appeal to all users, some will be more appropriate to attract new users, while others could be intended to engage with active users, and others could be focusing on bringing back lapsed users.
Yeah, bringing back lapsed users can be a challenging task, as mostly it's about trying to convince those lapsed users with new content or showcasing what has changed inside your app or game that could convince them to come back.
Yeah, exactly. And I would say in-app events will be a huge opportunity when it comes to bringing back lapsed users. Besides the general targeting within the store, according to Apple, you should be able to create also campaigns later on with a link that will send users then straight to your event card. And from there, they will be able to reinstall the app or set a notification that will inform them once the event is live. So to sum it up, it could mean besides the in-store marketing activities that you are doing, it could also be a good idea to integrate links of those in-app events into your user acquisition campaigns, especially then focusing as an example on lapsed users. But let me give you also an example. Now I focused a lot on lapsed users because I truly believe that this is one great potential here that we will have. But also when it comes to targeting new users, would be a good idea as an example to integrate the events link into your user acquisition campaigns, focusing here on targeting new users. And as an example, test if an event card link instead of a full product page link would perform better to acquire new users.
So thanks for your in detail explanation of how would in-app events will impact ASO. Quickly summarizing all these new features we've mentioned and included in iOS 15 in-app events, product page optimization and custom product pages will provide us with new ways to optimize the mobile user journey. It will help to customize messages with custom product pages, improve app conversion with product page optimization, re-engage with lapsed users with in-app events, and in general, learn from your audience's feedback. At the end, if we are able to leverage these new features, we will know the motivation that drives potential users to install and engage with your app or game.
Exactly, I completely agree. And yeah, I would say as a closing word, app marketing is a long-term play, and therefore you need a holistic approach to increase your growth, identify always new opportunities to maximize in the end also your revenue. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for all the insights. Quickly, before we go into the live Q&A, because there are a few questions that came in, I would like to directly speak to all the people who are listening. Great news, AppRadar has a promotion code at the moment going on. It's called FTW. You can get 30% off for your first 3 months with us. And that's a cool opportunity, especially since iOS 15 is coming. So you can see a bit what your competitors are doing. And yeah, I will send the code into the chat. So whoever's interested, please use it. Good. So quickly, let's jump into the questions. The questions that are not going to be answered today will be answered and sent out, of course. So don't worry, we have you covered. The first question is, will it finally be possible to use e-commerce purchase events as a conversion inside Apple Search Ads panel with the release of a new version of iOS? Do we know anything about it? Do we know anything about it yet, Teresa?
Well, iOS 15 isn't clear about which URLs will be compatible, which ad networks, and also which features could be specified as on the so-called landing page in app. So we don't know yet for sure if these e-commerce URLs will be also able to be targeted in ad campaigns or external paid campaigns outside the Apple App Store. We will have to wait a bit more until the end of the year, probably until we have more insights about this new feature.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the next questions. Do we know when the CPPs are going to be launched? Elena, please.
Yeah, so overall, I mean, I think we all waited hard for it when the iOS 15 finally went live. We also expected to finally have custom product pages, the in-app events, and the product page optimization, the A/B testing feature. But surprise, Apple didn't want to move it live. What I have to say, they changed it then and announced it officially that it will go live within fall, means later this year, someone. My suspicion here is that basically they are waiting also a bit looking at the adoption rate, how many people actually are upgrading to iOS 15. This is at least what they have done in the past when they had new versions and so on. So from my humble opinion, I think that they are looking here at the numbers a bit and are waiting until the adoption rate is bigger so they can also reach more users. But yeah, let's hope it will be soon and we can soon make use of all these new features.
Good. Next question is also a bit tricky since the feature is not out. Is it possible to include the URL in deep links with branch, for example, so we can track them through a custom page and still track them coming into the app and maybe what custom product pages they are coming from? I think it was Teresa's topic.
Yeah, that was my topic. That's, of course, a tricky one. If we are able to track, and how can we track due to all these privacy limitations, the app-to-app URLs would have, of course, this opt-in option that will affect the tracking. If the URL comes from a website, an external app from, or the external, web or paid campaign from a self-attribution network or a website, probably we would be able to track it down properly. The problem is between the URLs between app to app. That means it will have a very limited restrictions as due to this privacy prompt that we currently have in App Store and in sort in Google Play too.
Okay, so we'll keep you posted, basically. Another question is, do we need any software integration for in-app events? Elena, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so basically the idea of Apple, how it was announced, is that you can set up everything within App Store Connect. As said here, important to prepare the event badge is basically choosing, selecting then directly in App Store Connect, what is your event badge, what is your event metadata and so on. And then also directly within App Store Connect, you should be able to upload then the media, but this should be a dedicated section there coming once it's live.
Okay, last question. How do you think would we be able to use CPPs with the Apple search ads? Did you get the question? No, sorry.
Can you repeat it again, please, Rebecca? So,
how do you think would we be able to use CPPs with the Apple search ads?
Yeah, that's a little bit difficult. I've seen developers saying that we are going to be able to use CPPs with Apple search ads, and other developers saying the opposite, that they are both partners of Apple. I am not sure if that will be the case because of these privacy limitations. I would say I am, that's a bit uncertain, so probably not. Maybe if Apple in the short term or midterm develops it a little bit differently, so the privacy restrictions allows us to use CPPs for Apple search ads, then yes, but I think we will have to wait to be 100% sure about that.
Okay, great, thank you. So last question, which is for me basically, will the webinar and or presentation will be sent out afterwards? Yes, we will send it out, including the questions that we didn't have time right now to cover, but time is up, unfortunately. So we will say goodbye now. Thank you all for joining. I hope it was interesting. If you want more information on AppRadar or on our services or whatever might be interesting for you, please check out our homepage, appradar.com. Please write us emails, whatever you may need. We're here for you. And yes, we will send out the webinar registration. Sorry. Okay, so have a good evening. Now I will give the word over to Teresa and Elena, and goodbye.
Yeah, also thank you so much from my side. It was a pleasure being here, and I hope to see you in one of our next webinars again.
Yes, thanks you also, and we expect to deliver more webinars about this topic in the near future. So we will keep you posted.